Hello, everybody. My name is Sonny Pinkney, and this is feedbackthemagazine.com. I have with me, singer, songwriter, and actress Naomi B. How are you doing today, Naomi?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
Okay, my first question to you is, what prompted your interest in tackling and highlighting the human trafficking epidemic in Baltimore?
You know what? My passion started first with young women, young girls who grew up without their dad. I love my dad, and he is very much in my life right now. But as a child, there were some issues between, my dad and my mom, and they ended up getting a separation and then a divorce, and he wasn't around as much as I would like for him to have been. Not because he didn't want to be, but just due to, some circumstances. Anyway, growing up without my dad in the home, I later realized it really, really left a hole in me. And it caused me to be more susceptible to certain things, especially attention from boys and attention from people that I probably shouldn't be getting attention from. And so I developed a real passion for young women just like me, who grew up just like me, who may not even be aware that they have these vulnerabilities. And these are the type of vulnerabilities that traffickers like to exploit. They look and prey on girls who are searching for something or who are vulnerable. So that's kind of how I got into this thing.
Okay, so basically what you're stating to Feedback the Magazine is that these young girls don't have a father figure in their lives, so they go out seeking that male influence.
Yes, and I think a lot of times they don't even realize that they're searching for something. But, yeah, absolutely, and because they don't have a good standard of what a good man should look like, that leaves them susceptible to fall for a lot of the tricks and the lies and schemes that these men offer them.
How prevalent is sex trafficking in your hometown of Baltimore?
Oh, okay. So, it's interesting because when I got involved with trafficking, it was before we started hearing about all the girls that were going missing in the D.C. area and in this area. So it really, as far as the media was concerned, it wasn't prevalent. It wasn't on our radar. I'll say that. It's been happening for a long time, but it wasn't on our radar, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to get into it. But it's very prevalent. It's hard to track it because if people don't report it, then there are incidents out there that you don't know about. But just as an example, in 2016, the National Human Trafficking Hotline reported 7,500 cases. 7,500 cases, but those are just cases that have been identified. But we don't know how many are out there that haven't been identified.
And that 7,500, is that just in the city of Baltimore or Baltimore County, or that's in the DMV area? Like, is that 7,500?
Actually, that was nationally. I think if you look just at Maryland, you're looking at about maybe 400 survive. The statistics are really hard to come by because it's hard to
Quantify.
You don't know what's out there. But I know, as far as Maryland, for example, in 2013, they reported 400 survivors, but those are just the ones that have survived. So how many are still out there, we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nationally, you're looking at 7,500 cases, and, and these are just the ones that were reported, so.
Now, I want to jump into your song, Break Free. What was the reaction across the region when you released your title track, Break Free, which is available on iTunes, Amazon, and on CD?
Yeah, so Break Free was actually, I recorded Break Free back in 2010 before sex trafficking was even on my radar. But it just so happened to work so perfectly for that theme and for the initiative that that I'm working to bring awareness to it. And so the song it really comes from a psalm. It's Psalm 69, and it's David. He's in a tough time, and he's crying out to God to just help him. He doesn't want to be overtaken by what he's going through. And he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know where to go except to God. So he's just crying, break me free. So that could be for anyone who has anything in their life that's threatening to kill their destiny or is threatening their forward progress. So anybody who's going through anything and they need to break free from it, or they need to be saved from that situation, that's who that song is talking to.
Okay, so when you shot the video, did you shoot it in 2010 or did you shoot it recently?
We shot the video in 2016.
Okay, and how did you arrive at the concept of shooting a video? Did you combine a variety of stories that you've heard?
You know what? Right, I would say maybe a year. Within a year of shooting the video is when I had first started taking an interest in sex trafficking awareness. And so I had been doing just some research on the different ways that traffickers lure young women into the trade. And that was the lover boy method is one of the key methods, where a guy will, befriend a girl and gain her trust. And then eventually, once he knows he has her trust and her loyalty, then he'll switch. And he'll switch up on her and then, take advantage of her. And so I wanted to highlight an example of that in the video as a learning tool. A lot of young people, they may not attend a workshop to hear about trafficking and how they can keep safe, but they'll watch a music video.
Of course.
So it just demonstrates one of those tactics and gives, people something to watch out for.
Because a music video paints a picture that can resonate home to a lot of teenagers and young adults more than someone that could be sitting in a church or be sitting in the office or something.
Absolutely.
Okay, my next question is, I know this may, you may get a little flack over this question, but in your expert opinion, what can city leaders do to prevent or curtail sex trafficking? In your expert opinion.
My expert opinion, and I am by no means an expert. I'm still a student of this.
Okay.
But I think that it comes down to first educating. Education is probably, prevention is probably going to be, in my opinion, the biggest thing. We already have a problem, and it's a growing problem, but my passion is to make women aware so they don't become victims. So if we can stop them from becoming victims in the first place, then that will greatly help the problem. So we need to get more resources out there. So what that means is we need more money to do things like what I'm doing, like doing workshops or, maybe getting this in the curriculum at the schools. And we just need to be able to educate young people on a much wider scale so that they are aware of what to look out for and they can, avoid becoming victims in the first place. So I just think education is key.
Now, you speak on other issues as well, like bullying and domestic abuse. Does your musical lyrics primarily focuses on the message that you're trying to send to the community?
So none of my songs, and I am a songwriter, none of my songs are, I guess, narrowly focused on any particular issue. My songs focus more on inspiring and, just providing that glimpse of hope and encouraging people that they can come out of whatever bad or dark or ugly place that they're in. So really, you can apply the message in the song to so many different areas of your life and different circumstances.
Okay, cool. Now, what other issues do you tackle that plague the city of Baltimore, like police brutality, like the Freddie Gray murder, or the like a murder or police corruption? Do you tackle?
I haven't really tackled any other social justice type issues.
Yes.
Trafficking is what I've been focused mainly on, but I am really big on just helping. I've done workshops and seminars on self-esteem, modesty in dress, public speaking, that type of thing, just making sure that young girls have the tools they need to enter the workforce and to just be productive, citizens and to aspire to go to college and that type of thing. So I've been focused on working on building up our young people.
How would you describe your singing style?
Well, I would say others describe my voice as powerful but soothing. What I hear often is that my voice is angelic, and so I guess there is a certain feeling that people get when they hear my voice. They often say that they have chills and that type of thing. But more than anything, I hear that it's soothing and angelic.
Send shivers down their spine. Okay. Now, my next question is, who are some of your singing idols?
Oh, my goodness. Toni Braxton.
Maryland native, yes.
Oh, yeah. Anybody who knows me and has heard me sing, they can hear that 90s influence. I absolutely love Toni Braxton. And Joanne Rosario, she's a gospel singer. I really, really enjoy her. I listen to a lot of worship music, so not that they influence my style per se, but I am also a worship leader, and so I've been really, really, really inspired by like William McDowell and William Murphy as well.
Now, my next question is, do you remember the very first time someone told you about human trafficking? And if so, what were your initial thoughts?
That's a good question. I honestly can't remember when the first time I heard about it, but I know some of my initial thoughts were, wow, that could have been me. That could have been me. And I say that again because I was so I wanted so much to have attention from, a guy or a man at one point in my life, and they could have easily just said, hey, come on over to the hotel. I don't want to do anything, but I just want to chill, or maybe we're going to have a little hotel party. And, me just wanting to be in the presence of a guy, I would go and end up drugged on the bed, being taken advantage of, So that was like, wow, that could have been me when I learned about how they go about getting their victims. That was my thought.
Now, you have two kids, a 10-year-old son and an 18-year-old stepdaughter. Now, what precautions have you taken with your 18-year-old stepdaughter that, that you can apply to? Have you, gave her, precautions of watching herself and watching men and watching, what they say and their mannerisms while she's out in public?
Yeah, so, and thankfully we have a very close relationship. One thing, my stepdaughter, she's on social media.
Okay.
So those are one of the things that I kind of give her tips. For example, she's on Instagram, and she doesn't use her real name. She has a name that she made up, and if you don't already know her, you're not going to be able to find her. That's really key because traffickers use social media a lot to find their next victims. As far as, using security protocols, for example, when you post a picture on social media, some of the phones, they have this thing called geotagging where it'll automatically identify where that picture was taken. You want to turn stuff like that off.
Okay, like the location.
The location.
Yes.
Yeah, geotagging or get location features. Not telling people where you are. I tell her if you want to tag a location that you were at, let's just say you were at a restaurant, at least do it after you've gone.
Exactly. Yeah, Or when you on vacation, post the pictures after you come home.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Certain things like that. Just really being smart. Making smart decisions about what you put on the internet. Of course, you don't want any personal information like your date of birth and, your address and that type of thing on the internet, in unsafe, public locations. So, we talk about stuff like that. As far as, just being able to protect yourself out in public. Generally speaking, traffickers, they'll probably want to know about their victim before you're not going to just walk outside, generally speaking, somebody just snatch you up. That's typically not how they work. They'll study you first and make sure you're a good fit for what they're trying to do.
And get a good gauge. Okay, yeah, get a good gauge, yeah.
Yeah, and so just making sure you don't befriend just anyone. Guys, you're going to meet guys and you're going to want to get to know them, but before you give of yourself and your personal information, you want to make sure you get to know them well. Make sure that you have mutual friends and that type of thing. So, the same thing that I would tell any girl that was participating in one of my workshops or seminars is the same things that I would tell my daughter.
Now, I've read in your bio that Mr. Ivan Thomas sent me that you worked alongside the SCLC and the Justice for Girls initiative and the Samaritan Women that supports housing young women. Has collaborating with these organizations make you wish that the local and state government would step in and do more like they did with the opioid epidemic?
Yes, absolutely. I think sometimes just because there's such a large work to do, sometimes you can just kind of feel like you're out there on your own fighting. Even in my personal with my personal initiative, when I'm not down in Atlanta with the SCLC, which is most of the time, and I'm here by myself, I'm like, wow, I wish I had, some other people that were passionate about this to come alongside me to help. So yeah, absolutely. The government could definitely do more, but, and they are, there was recent legislation that is really, really helping to, put criminals behind bars, and keep them, behind bars for a longer period of time. So it is happening slowly but surely.
Okay. Now you stated that in a conversation of young girls being kidnapped and sex trafficking, it comes and goes. How should a community keep the conversation and attention going? Because I know you said that Jada Pinkett comes through the city and speaks about sex trafficking. Not all the time, but when she's in town in Baltimore, her hometown. So how can you guys keep the conversation going?
Social media is such a large tool. So I think by there are lots of organizations out there with sex trafficking initiatives. So by connecting with other other organizations getting involved, with what they're doing, by sharing information on social media, whether it's statistics, whether it's, my music video, just dialoguing about it, I think can help pique interest. And then getting involved with organizations that are already doing this and helping them to, meet their mission will help, them to reach more people. And, of course, we can always use more celebrities that take an interest in it, because with their, then they bring the issue to their following. So that's always great.
And lastly, how long have you been an advocate for bullying, domestic violence, and sex trafficking?
Sex trafficking, about 2 years now. Bullying and domestic violence is a very new initiative that I've just begun to pick up. So that's like currently underway.
And I wanted to ask I just thought about this one last question. Do you have any intentions or plans to work with the mayor of Baltimore as far as, touching these topics that you're passionate about?
Yeah, I would love to work with the mayor. Absolutely. Any chance I get to help on any scale, on any level, I would definitely jump at the opportunity.
Okay, well, I want to thank you, Naomi, for taking time out to talk to Feedback the Magazine about what you're advocating for in the city of Baltimore, Maryland. And I want to thank you again, and good luck with your endeavors, and hope everything turns out well for you and the young girls in Baltimore.
Okay, thank you very much.
And for Naomi B, I'm Sonny Pinkney. This is feedbackthemagazine.com.